500 years ago, my family found the world's biggest fortune, then was betrayed. People have been searching for it all in vain.
Both you turn your keys clockwise at the same time.
Thanks a lot. You almost got me killed.
Clockwise, Sully!
Well, it was 50-50, so I made a guess.
Clearly.
But the voyage was not just about gold. It was something much more valuable. This cross has a very tragic history. So much blood.
I'm pretty sure he just threatened to kill me. Oh, this is gonna suck!
Don't get caught.
You were just gonna leave me back there.
Somebody had to get the cross.
Aloha. It's Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man. And last night, opening night, Thursday night, of Tom Holland, yes, Spider-Man, his new movie, Uncharted. And I went ahead and I saw it. And, well, remember our rating scale, shock a thumbs up. It's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's junk, I don't recommend it. And for this video game adaptation from the great PlayStation game, I think there's like 4 or 5 games currently out on this franchise of games. And they definitely wish to do more movies. This being the very first installment, it is overall a shock and thumbs up. Let me just say that this has a stellar cast. Antonio Banderas as the main villain, Tati Gabrielle, Sophie Ali, and Mark Wahlberg. And of course, Tom Holland as the star, Nathan Drake, in this adventure franchise series of video game adaptations, this movie. And essentially, how can I best describe this movie? This is a modern day Indiana Jones adventure. If you're like me and you're not familiar with the games, I mean, I've heard of the games, I've heard people talk about the games, I've seen some cut scenes of the games, so I'm familiar with the adventurer, the treasure hunter, Nathan Drake, but I am not fully versed on all of his adventures, on how the game is played, or you know, all the nuances, the hints, etc. in this game. But fortunately, this movie, as a simple adventure Indiana Jones treasure seeking hunting game, or movie I should say, is very much a shock and thumbs up, and very much made for the novice, those who may not be too familiar with the game, walking you through some of the backstory of Nathan Drake. You know, his character, his motivations, and Tom Holland, I gotta say, gives an excellent performance as this character, Nathan Drake. Some people were saying that he is too small, too young looking to play Nathan Drake, but you know, as his first adventure as Nathan Drake, I think this very well works. You know, and he definitely brings the physicality to the role. Let me just say, you see some shots of Tom Holland as Nathan Drake working out, push-ups, pull-ups, etc. There are physical demands in this movie. There are action beats in this movie that I don't think he used a stuntman. He's running around full out, you know, sprint, flipping, doing that parkour kind of running, and he is excellent just jumping around over things, climbing things, etc. In a way that you've never seen Indiana Jones do before. Not even Harrison Ford in his youngest of the Indiana Jones days, leaping across that chasm with his whip. You know, is a match for the physicality, the stunts, the action beats that Tom Holland performs in this movie. And I gotta say, after watching this movie, I don't know what the heck they could do for this Indiana Jones Part 5 coming up with an, 80, 90-year-old Harrison Ford. You know, I think stick a fork in him, he's done, because Nathan Drake has taken over. I've heard that this follows and gives some Easter eggs from the games, so it's got plenty for everybody, the novice and the expert game player. You'll be very familiar if you do play the games with what he's doing, his goals, etc. And even some of the puzzles that he solves in the game. So again, like National Treasure, like Indiana Jones, just like that last iteration, a couple years, 3 years back, I think, with Alicia Vikander's new Tomb Raider movie, this breathes new life and adrenaline into the adventure genre. Something, again, that we hadn't seen since Indiana Jones, since the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raiders. It has that level of excitement, something that the Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider was missing. There was a darkness to her, and there's a little bit of darkness in this movie as well, Uncharted, as there is in the video game. But whereas they spent too much time just talking and looking into the backstory, and, you know, little kid, Alicia Vikander, Tomb Raider, Angelina Jolie, or Angelina Croft, or whatever her name is, Laura Croft. Sorry. You know, they spend just the right amount of time touching briefly on his backstory, Tom Holland's for Nathan Drake's character, him and his brother, a very integral part of the game, growing up, how he is obsessed with these treasures and actually gets into kind of stealing, liberating, you know, hunting for these treasures around the world, etc. And we find out a very important fact that his family bloodline is related to the famous explorer Francis Drake. And so right there, you know, it's in his blood to seek out these adventures, to look at all the possible clues, and to hunt around the world in, you know, search of what is lost. So this story starts off, he meets with his friend, his soon-to-become friend and slash benefactor, Mark Wahlberg's Sully character in this, which gets him up to speed, who had previously worked with his brother, apparently, in seeking Magellan's lost fortune of $5 billion in gold, that during Magellan's exploration around the world, he had collected somewhere from the Philippines and the Asian areas of the world, you know, this $5 billion in gold that had apparently been lost throughout history, somewhere shipwrecked, as it was never returned back to Spain, who had sent out on this exploration for this gold. Add to that the Spanish, Antonio Banderas as the Spanish original family line of the blood of the benefactors, and he feels that it's his blood duty to retrieve this gold for his family's fortune, which puts him in direct conflict with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. And working alongside of Antonio Banderas is the absolutely wonderful, charming, stunning, and as much as Tom Holland is physically fit for this role, Tati Gabrielle from, if you remember my reviews on Sabrina, the Teenage Witch Netflix show, that she was an up-and-coming star, I said, that I wanted to see her, and very much more, that she has a physicality and a beauty that, you know, is unmatched right now in the use of Hollywood. And I saw great things for her, and she, as Antonio Banderas' main henchwoman in this, really brings that challenging both, you know, senior actors like Mark Wahlberg and, you know, Tom Holland in every role, in the physicality of the role and the acting chops as well. I'm very happy to see her in this role, and fans of Sabrina the Teenage Witch will definitely want to see this movie, not only for Tom Holland, but for Tati Gabrielle as well. Wow, she knocks it out of the park. And she's even gotten some positive comments from Tom Holland and Zendaya, as we've seen in some interviews, you know, in some of the press on the movie's press tour as well. So yes, she is a big up-and-coming star, and knocks it out of the park. And just for her alone, she could be starring solo in this film. But thanks to Tom Holland, this will definitely be #1 at the box office this weekend. Again, lots of Indiana Jones treasure hunting, national treasure kind of puzzles to solve. You know, you get that globe-trotting feel as they go from America to Barcelona to the Philippines, that the original Indiana Jones did give us. Something that had been sorely lacking in the later iterations of the franchise of Indiana Jones. And yes, you know, you should definitely go check this movie out. It's fun for the whole family. It's PG. There is some, you know, deaths as villains are dispatched, etc. You know, henchmen are knocked off. And some fantastic fight scenes, beautifully choreographed with Tom Holland jumping around, leaping. Mark Wahlberg as well also brings the physicality in this, enough to match all of the other henchmen that you've seen in the trailers, plus the beautiful and talented Tatia Gabrielle. Sophie Ali also does a fair share of action beats in this movie, but she is not the main goal, as she's like helping Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. What else can I say about this movie? Well, it struck me as a lot of what Red Notice should have been. You have a team of 3 people, whereas in Red Notice it was The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. Here you have Sophie Ali, Mark Wahlberg, and Tom Holland, globe-trotting across the world, solving puzzles to get this ancient treasure. Very much like a Red Notice. But done so much better. You know, be it from the game franchise aspect of it, and that a lot of the story had already been written, but to involve that and invoke it into the movie so seamlessly is amazing. This is projected for at least a $30 million box office. It will make that most definitely. I see probably 40, maybe 45. 50 I think would be too high, I think, with still COVID and stuff going around. Again, I saw it Thursday opening night for the weekend. Not too many people, but it was the first showing on Thursday afternoon, and I'm sure the weekend, Friday night tonight, along with Saturday, will definitely explode more of the box office. People looking for new movies, new action, and they'll find it with Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, and Tati Gabrielle. No holds bar in this movie. If you like adventure, action, drama, suspense, and treasure hunting, it's all right here, all across the ocean, across the land, across the sea. They'll find that gold and take you and me with them. All right, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, giving Uncharted a shock, a thumbs up. Go ahead and check it out when you can, however you can. You won't be disappointed. All right, mahalo and aloha.